yeah, everybody. Welcome back to another hot episode of a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which you talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear and then discuss them over a glass of wine. I'm your boy, Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here, as always, by my fur coat wearing feline friend, Kat Halstead, the author. Welcome back, girl. I don't know why I added in that cat thing, like the feline friend, but...
I'm like, what? I may own a fur coat, but I don't wear it.
What?
Yeah, it's in storage.
Oh, all right. You need to drive down to the storage facility this weekend.
Oh my god.
And wear it for your next recording, because I need to see it. Is it Cruella de Vil-like?
It's real fur. It's like a family heirloom.
It's an heirloom. So, like, what's it from? Like the 20s or something?
Like probably the 50s or 60s.
Did Zelda Fitzgerald wear it?
No, I feel like it's more the kind of thing that like Lucy and Ethel were trying to get.
Oh, Ricky had like someone performing at the club that was going to wear a fur coat, but he had to like bring it home because he didn't want to leave it at the club, and like Lucy thought it was hers.
Yep.
She's like walking around in it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, she spilled some like jelly on it or something.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I need to hear more about this fur coat, or at the very least, I need like a photo spread.
Oh my god. It's in storage. Like, my storage unit is a mess. Like, one day I really need to like clean it out.
Yeah, I think you should too.
Purge some stuff, but...
Yeah, the purge.
I haven't had time.
All right. We're here bringing you a special bonus episode of the podcast. Yes, an unplanned, for the most part anyway. Unplanned to you all.
Most part, like, it was semi-planned.
We kind of unknowingly teased it like a few episodes back, but you know what? We're doing it. It's here. What are we bringing to you today? What are we bringing to you?
Today, we are dropping back in time to the year 1988, and we're going to a parade!
Yes, let's have a parade. And what? Not just a parade, but like the parade. Like the biggest parade of parades. As far as I know.
I would say it's...
Name a better parade.
I can't name a better parade than the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yes, we're going back to November 24th, 1988 for the 62nd annual Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. What a time to be alive, I have to say. Mm-hmm. And this is a wild day of television, just on NBC. Like, not even talking about anything else that might be on.
Oh, really?
I decided to do like you know what? Like, after the parade, after you... have dinner, like what would you settle in and watch? You wanna go over the quick hot lineup of...
Yeah, tell me what was happening on this night when we were 7 years old.
I'm gonna say this is I wouldn't call it a hot night of television, but maybe like a lukewarm night of television.
Lukewarm. Okay, he's finally admitting something. I'm going with it.
It's been simmering for a little bit. Things kick off at ABC 8 o'clock. It's a special presentation of 1964's Mary Poppins, starring our girl, Julie Andrews, and our boy Dick Van Dyke, about a family in Edwardian London that keeps driving off nannies until, guess who rolls into town and saves the day.
Okay.
Mary Poppins. Yeah. I'm guessing this must have been like a staple, because I thought like The Wizard of Oz was on Thanksgiving, but I guess not.
No, The Wizard of Oz was on the night before Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what you watch on Wednesday nights before the night before Thanksgiving was The Wizard of Oz.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe I got my things backwards. I don't know. Who knows? But that's ABC. Are you ready for a fun night at CBS? A fun night at the Tiffany Network?
What's happening at CBS?
All right, at 8 o'clock, the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. Ooga. This was a late 80s revival attempt of the popular 1960s variety series.
Okay. I was about to be like, what the hell?
Yeah. The original series appealed to a youth audience and often lampooned the political arena of its time. And the original show was always at odds with CBS in regards to censorship. In fact, it came to a point that producers would have to submit episodes like 10 days in advance to the network to go through it and just kind of like make sure everything was cool. I don't know, it was a grand old time, fun time. But however... during the 1988 Writers Guild strike, the Smothers brothers returned to television for one season, and I guess they just like the two bros, Dick and Tom. Mm-hmm. They just like wrote their own material. They didn't like hire writers. So that's how like it was kind of like the WGA like loophole, I think. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It didn't do hot. It got canceled after one season, but I did find a fun story. I never knew the story. Do you know the story of Tom Smothers and Bill Cosby? Do you know about their little feud?
I'm sorry, what?
Yes. In the 70s, Bill Cosby and Tom Smothers, one of the Smothers bros, had a feud, like a famous feud. So I guess after the original series was canceled in the late 60s, brother Tom, he took an interest in American politics, and he was always vocal about Cosby, not using his like huge platform to take an interest in American politics, especially like civil rights and stuff like that. So it always bothered him, and he'd always kind of like say kind of like snarky things about it. It got to like a point where like if they were at like the same place, like Cosby would like refuse to shake his hand and stuff like that. But it all came to a head. It all came to a head in 1976, October 1976. You ready for this night?
Okay.
Smothers and Cosby, they ended up at the same party at the Playboy Mansion one night.
Okay.
Like circumstances brought them together. And just this season, like, so it's like October. So like, I don't know, like early September, early October, I don't know what. Cosby had a new variety series that premiered that year. It's called Cos, C-O-S. And Tom, he attempted to be cordial and he congratulated Cosby on the new variety series. But unbeknownst to Smothers, like literally like a few days before, the show got canceled.
Oh.
Cosby got pissed and punched him in the face. Just punched this guy in the face.
How was he ever America's dad?
I mean, I don't know, but you know what? This is just the humble beginnings of the man who shall not be named. So that's that hour. You ready for CBS 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Guns of Paradise. Do you know what this is? Are you familiar with this?
No.
This was a late 80s to early 90s like Western revival, like an attempt to bring back Westerns to TV.
Okay.
And it was about a professional gunslinger who gains custody of his dying sister's children. And I guess, you know, a gunslinger ain't no place to raise kids. So he like decides to go on the straight and narrow and like, I don't know, like runs a business or something and tries to like change his life. But you know, those old guys always keep coming back to haunt him.
Yeah.
So the series starred Lee Horsley, who recently experienced a revival. He's in Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight, like those last few Quentin Tarantino movies. So he's still out there. Any hot guesses for CBS 10 o'clock? I feel like you can get this.
I have no clue what is happening, so...
We talk about it a lot. I don't think we've ever seen an episode, but we know a lot about it.
So Knots Landing?
Yes, you got it, girl. Hot scoop. Although Knots Landing was a spin-off of Dallas, the series was actually conceived first. But after Dallas's success, creator David Jacobs had moved some characters from Dallas over to the cul-de-sac.
Okay.
So that's CBS. And then NBC. NBC's a pretty... it's like a flagship night. We get 8 o'clock, we get The Cosby Show.
Okay.
8:30, we get A Different World. 9 o'clock, we get Cheers. NBC 9:30, we get Dear John. I feel like we've talked about this show a bit here and there.
We've never, like, I don't think either of us have ever really watched it, but we know of it.
Yeah, it has Judd Hirsch. He plays the role of John Lacey, a school teacher who one day after 10 years of marriage comes home and finds a Dear John letter from his wife. And I don't know, he's gonna like start over or something. She like runs off with the kids or something.
Yeah, and he's like in a single support group or something.
Yeah, I guess in the first episode, he accidentally like walks into like an AA meeting. And he thought it was like a single support group. I think that was like,
oh god,
I think that was like the famous gag of the episode, but I think it like pissed people off too. All right, NBC 10 o'clock. Any inkling? It's Thursday night. It's the late 80s.
It's LA Law.
Oh yeah, LA Law. And actually, I think someone from LA Law appears in this parade that we're doing today.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think she's on a float. I think it's a woman. I remember them saying, "Oh, that's so-and-so from LA Law."
Oh yeah.
That's it though. Like
that's right.
She's just waving. Nothing fun or spectacular.
Yeah, she's just waving. They didn't make her do any bad lip syncing.
No. I don't know if it was just the quality of like the VHS to YouTube, but the music never matched up with the lips.
No, it is like, okay, so I just the other night randomly, I thought I was watching like a commercial, like early 80s commercials, but it also had like the 1980 Thanksgiving Day parade performances in it.
Okay.
There was a musical number by Todd Bridges.
Yeah, you showed me this.
Yes, and the lip syncing did not match up then either. It never matches up. Like, if you actually pay attention to these musical performances on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, they never match up.
Okay, so the Todd Bridges one was from 1980.
Yeah.
Oh, because I was like waiting for it because I thought it was going to be in the 1988 one, and I was like,
oh.
One, I was like, why is Todd Bridges there? And then like two, I'm like, where is he?
Oh my god.
Because I feel like we're like the statute of limitations on like Todd Bridges appearing at a Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah.
Macy's Thanksgiving Parade is like long expired in 1988. But I was like, I don't know, like maybe he did like a hot TV movie or something. I don't know. I was even like looking at his like filmography, but like nothing was like lining up. I'm like, I don't like maybe
no.
maybe like he was in the news. I don't know.
It was just like some random thing I got sucked into the other night on YouTube.
But I'm like, you know what? Then I was like, well, Different Strokes is still like in reruns a lot in 1988. So I was like, maybe people didn't want to let go.
Well, Different Strokes still on the air in 88?
It ended in 86.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he did a TV movie in 1988. Yeah, that was the only thing I could like think of. Possibly that's the reason why he was there. But I'm like, it's a movie called Twice Dead. I don't think that's...
Yeah, no.
I feel like it's like a movie of the week kind of thing.
No, I was watching the 1980 parade the other day. And it was hosted by Ed McMahon and Bryant Gumbel.
Bryant Gumbel in 1980? He was a thing then?
And like he and Ed McMahon had won an Emmy for the 1979 parade because they gave each other little certificates.
Oh, so they brought him back?
I will say, having seen those two different ones, I found Ed McMahon more entertaining as a host than Willard Scott.
Yeah, we got to get into this. So Willard Scott is like the main host, right? He's best known for his work on the Today Show. They picked him for the 1987 parade. And I guess he did like such a great job. They brought him back in 88 and they kept him on the payroll till 97, I think it was.
He was around for a while, so.
Yeah. And he's kind of like a goofy, quirky guy. He actually used to be the original Ronald McDonald, like when that was first a character.
That is wild.
And he actually one time played the role of Bozo the Clown in like one of those incarnations. So, he's a quirky guy. And he's Mr. Poole on the Hogan Family also.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And he keeps like, so Sandy Duncan's the second host, the lady host. Mm-hmm. And she's in this like wild brown fur coat.
Yeah, this she is swallowed up by this fur coat.
It's insane. It's insanity. And she's like uptown.
And they look like, can we be real? Like the first half of the parade, Willard Scott is wearing like a cowboy hat.
Yes.
And they look like this rich Texas couple, like this rich Texas oil tycoon and his like little trophy wife.
I was getting like Green Acres vibes.
Okay, I can see that too.
But they're like in the first few minutes, like after they announced Sandy Duncan, and because she's like uptown, he's downtown, or vice versa. I don't know the geography. He goes, "Hey, Sandy, does this outfit look familiar?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "It's actually what I wore on the square dancing episode of the Hogan Family." And then she's like, "Oh yeah, that's right." And then he's like, "How is Mrs. Poole?" And she's like, "Oh, you gotta come back and see her." And he's like, "Oh, I will." And there's this like, they keep doing this like weird banter back and forth about Mrs. Poole. And it gets really awkward very quickly because I'm like,
why are they together? Like this, it just seems like a weird pair. But for 1988, I kind of see it. Like I kind of understand it because she's the star of the Hogan Family.
Is this her first year on it?
I don't think so.
Hold on, let me look it up.
It might be though, because like my Hogan Family history is a little way fuzzy because it's not really playing anywhere to go back and rewatch. Though I will find an episode for Jason Bateman month. She started on 87.
Yeah, the 87-88 season. And then they moved Mrs. Poole up from a regular character to a main character, or like a recurring character to a main character. And then Willard Scott would pop in whenever he was available.
Yeah.
They would do that thing where he was probably around, but
you just didn't see him.
He couldn't be there all the time. But I don't know, there's some weird, we get a lot of weird dialogue between Sandy and Willard Scott, because I feel like Sandy's there as Sandy, and then every now and then Willard Scott will just kind of start acting like he's Mr. Poole, and he just starts talking about Mrs. Poole, and she kind of laughs, but I feel like she's wildly uncomfortable for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, she's like, what is happening? Somebody save me.
I want to do a quick little Sandy Duncan corner, because I don't know, because I mostly just knew her from the Hogan Family, and then some random movies. She's in The Cat from Outer Space. She's in that Scooby-Doo movie, the 70s Scooby-Doo movies. Scooby meets Sandy Duncan. Why? I don't know.
She took after Mary Martin did Peter Pan or something.
When I used to actually watch the Mary Martin Peter Pan TV edition, I would think it was Sandy Duncan.
Yeah, I didn't totally understand the difference until I got older and realized just how old
it was.
That version of Peter Pan was.
It's what, from 1959 or 60 or something?
Yeah, it's right when color TV was a thing.
Literally, I remember the first time I ever watched it. It must have been 87 or 88 or something. And I think that NBC re-aired it one night. And I thought it was brand new. I thought this had just come out.
With my brother and I, same thing. I remember my mom recorded it on a VHS And my brother watched it all the time.
I can't remember much of it. I just remember seeing the strings of them flying, and it always bothered me. I don't know why.
Still better than the version NBC did a few years ago.
That with Allison Williams.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I never knew it was like they just filmed the play and then just aired it on TV like one night. I actually thought this was like a movie, like a legitimate movie. So it just like confused me, like how like crappy it was. And then like when I got like a little bit older, I was like, you know what, that makes sense now. Yeah. So I feel like 1988 is like peak Sandy Duncan too. Like what happened to her after that? Like nobody knows. Like she does things.
She does she? I like never see her in anything.
So I was thinking about this when I was watching this. So she does a voice on like one of the newest season or the newest incarnations of Scooby-Doo. It's called Scooby-Doo and Guess Who?
Okay.
She played herself actually in an episode called The Dreaded Remake of Jekyll and Hyde.
Okie dokie.
And that was this year. And then in 2014 and 2015, she was in 2 episodes as a judge on SVU.
Okay.
So she still kind of like is out there every now and then. And she's been in movies too. And she still does theater. So it's not like she went away. We just don't like she's just not in our...
She's just not in the entertainment we digest.
She did Finding Neverland, the Broadway edition of Driving Miss Daisy. That's 2014. Love Letters in 2018. I don't really know what that is.
It's like 2 people sending love letters back and forth to each other.
Carol Burnett produced it.
Okay.
So this is wild. This is wild. But if you want to talk about wild, I think we need to get into some of these performances here that are going on. Like I don't think we all have time to talk about them all, but maybe just highlight some of the wacky ones.
So before the actual like when the parade starts, we like see the start of it, but it's not until they get to Herald Square in front of Macy's do we like see the actual parade. So before then they have like Broadway performances. Yeah,
and I think they're like pre-taped because they go to them pretty quick.
I honestly don't know. I think there's like quick, fast.
I don't know.
They're just set up because it's not like they bring the set. Like some of them can be like bring some pieces because I remember when the Beetlejuice musical performed, they had some set pieces. But
the one that had like the French maids, whatever Broadway show that was,
I don't even remember.
They had props with them. Like the French maids had like buckets.
Yeah, they'll have some props, but like. But they're also theater professionals, so they know the quick change.
I guess so.
The first one, if I'm correct, I could be completely wrong, was from Godspell.
Yes, and that set the tone, and I was like, I don't know if I can watch this.
Okay, I've never seen Godspell. I don't really know the musical. But I was a little taken back because they were all dressed like Mork.
Yeah. For a minute, I thought the guy that looked like Mork, I thought it was Robin Williams. And I was like, is that Robin Williams in 1988? I was like, what's going on here?
Like, I was just like sitting here like, what is happening? Like, what are these costumes? Like, what is this?
And you have to think about this. This is the first performance they did after we got like all the setup and stuff. And they kind of picked a real dreary, like moody song. Nothing like, I feel like if you want to start off, you could do something like fun and exciting, to kind of get you going, right?
I mean, okay, so musicals can actually be really depressing with like their subject matter. Understandable.
There's one thing where you're going to a show and watching the show as a whole. Then it's Thanksgiving morning. You got like mom's making breakfast. You got all the kids. They're sitting in the living room. They just want to see Garfield and Big Bird. And then this weird Mork and Mindy Broadway presentation just starts playing just after you got like a weird like interaction between Sandy Duncan and
Willard Scott. Yeah,
I think like Willard Scott wanted to like bang Sandy Duncan too. Like I just got this.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
I think he like kissed her on the forehead at one time when they finally like when she made her way downtown, like wherever he was.
Yeah,
and like she just legitimately seemed creeped out by this whole thing. Like I just picture her being like to her agent, like, I'm not doing this again. Like, I'm out.
Well, you know what? She didn't do it again.
Yeah, I looked. And I was like, I bet you this is why. You know what? She probably got Mr. Poole, like, I don't know, like downgraded, like even further after that.
Yeah.
She's like, you know what? He can only do scenes with Josh Taylor. I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah. Because Josh Taylor was around all the time, too.
We'll just do an episode where I'm at the store, and that's when he comes over. How about that? I'm shopping. I'm shopping with Jason Bateman.
Yeah, like...
I'm taking him to get his driver's license.
Okay, so, like, I looked up what Godspell is about. It's at the behest of John the Baptist. Young men and women forsake their jobs and take up the mantle of Jesus Christ, becoming his disciples, in a musical retelling of the Gospel of Matthew set in modern-day New York City. It's from 1973, so that kind of explains the costumes.
Okay, yeah.
Using song and dance, the apostles traverse the city, spreading Christ's message of love and tolerance as the time moves ever closer to his betrayal at the hands of Judas, and ultimately his crucifixion.
You know what? In the 2 songs they played from it, I got none of that.
Do you want to know who played Jesus in the original production?
A Cassidy brother?
We actually just talked about this person
In an episode?
in the last thing we recorded. Victor Garber.
Oh, shout out to Victor Garber playing who? Who did he play? Jesus?
He played Jesus.
Wow. You know what? He is very Christ-like, am I right?
1973, I could totally see it.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'll have to... Is there like old video performances that are out there somewhere?
Apparently there was a film with the same cast from 1973 as well.
All right. I'm bringing up a pic. Hold on. Victor Garber. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. You have to see this. He kind of looks like a cross between Bob Ross and Mork from Ork.
Oh my god, yes. With, like, the heart on his head and, like, the clown makeup.
So, like, that's considered modern-day Jesus?
I guess so.
I stand. You know what? We have to find this. It's new on Blu-ray. It just came out on Blu-ray.
Oh my god.
According to Pinterest.com.
Oh my goodness.
All right. You know what? Add it to the list. Kat. So, I got none of that when I watched this little segment. I didn't get any kind of Jesus vibes or anything from it. I was like...
Yeah.
They're doing, like... horny Mork and Mindy fan fiction.
I was like, I don't understand what's going on.
Maybe this will get better. Then we get I don't know, that cuts over to like a marching school band kind of thing. You're like, okay, like whatever. Mm-hmm. It's all good. But then we get the cast of Suds.
Yes. Suds. Which I looked this up because I had never heard of this musical before. But now,
oh no,
I need to see this musical performed.
So this all takes place at like a laundromat? Yeah,
it takes place at a laundromat. This girl's like about to kill herself. And like these 2 angels come in. It's all to like 50s, 60s doo-wop kind of music.
And Willard Scott even like makes a joke. He's like, I don't know what this 60s doo-wop rock is. I'm way too young for this. I'm like, dude, you were born in like the 30s. I'm like, you know what this is.
You were old then, man. Like, you were old then.
So basically what everyone does is like a review of their music. They might not play a whole song. They probably play like a minute or 2 of one.
They might do like a little medley. They'll either do like one full song or a medley, kind of depending on what the musical is.
We kind of get this review of Suds, and we get like we hear like a bunch of pop songs. The actors, they look like the B-52s in the Love Shack video. Like, that's all I could think of.
Yes, they do. They really do. They got, like, the bouffant hair. Like, because I looked up the website for the show, and, like, when they were doing the character breakdowns, they're very specific about the hairstyles and the hair colors.
But all I want to know is...
each character.
Where are all these people now? That's all I gotta say.
And I'm like, I gotta find a performance of this. I think there's one on YouTube from, like, a college or something, or community theater.
Probably. So then, it's this, like, weird comedy / off-Broadway type show called Forbidden Broadway.
Yeah, like, I missed the title of what the show was, so I just sat there, like, because I streamed this to my TV, so I'm, like, sitting here on the couch just, like, staring at the TV yesterday, watching this, like, what the hell is happening? Is this, like, just insomnia infused, like
a bad nightmare?
Psychosis I'm having right now? I wasn't sure.
Forbidden Broadway is basically just, like, a satire of popular Broadway shows throughout history. And it's, like, they do, like, like an update on Annie, but she's not a little girl. Now she's, like, a 30-year-old woman, and she's, like, smoking a cigarette. And she's thinking about how she wants there to be a sequel. And I don't know, there's this guy comes out, he's on like roller skates. I think he's supposed to be an alien of some sort. Like, I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, like there were parts where I was like, I don't understand. And then I'd like see like one character like that was so crystal clear, like a Broadway figure. But like all this other, I was like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, they did a
I'm so confused.
someone did an imitation of Mary Martin as Peter Pan, callback to talking about Mary Martin as Peter Pan, but like the song's just about her being Larry Hagman's mother. Like it's like a really weird song.
Yeah.
It was just so out there. And then
It,
this like one at the end of it, this like one lady comes up, but she's like kind of dressed like the Monopoly guy, and her like makeup's
yes.
all smeared. I just don't know what the show is, but I looked it up. It's like still going today.
Really?
Willard Scott said some weird line about it. He's like, "Yeah, this show is so popular. He's like, tickets are booked through 1999." And I didn't know if that was a joke or if it was serious.
I'm sure it was kind of a joke.
After I watched it, I was like, "There's no way this lasted till 1999." But then I looked it up. It was, they didn't do it for a few years, but it came back. I think it's called Forbidden Broadway, The Next Generation is what they call it now.
Oh my gosh.
A few years ago, they did one called Forbidden Broadway Summer Shock. So they kind of just use these punny titles kind of thing. Yeah, so I don't know. That's that. Did I miss anything on that little segment?
I think those were like the only performances for this one, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Can we talk about Harry Anderson now? Can we do like a Harry Anderson corner?
Oh my god, it was so awkward.
So like Willard is just like, I don't know, he's like reporting, and then all of a sudden like you see like a 1915-ish like Model T coming down the street.
Yeah.
And he's like beeping the horn, and he's like, "Oh, that's Night Court star Harry Anderson. What's he doing out during the day?" He like gets out of the car and he has these like giant like playing cards with him.
Yeah.
He does a card trick like in the street, and it's like the worst card trick, by the way.
Yeah, it was not a good card trick. We have seen much better from Harry Anderson. This is like
no, and like Willard Scott did not seem impressed by it. Like he just was like
Willard Scott was like, "Why am I here?"
Pretty much.
Like Harry Anderson was like, "Why am I here?" And it's only because it was in his contract with NBC to be there.
Yeah, they had to get like NBC stars because I don't know. I thought there was going to be more with Harry Anderson, but he just does like one card trick and then he just gets back in this car and he's like, "I hope it still starts."
Yeah, it was.
And then he just drives off.
Yeah, it was really awkward.
And like Willard's like, "Well, that car's a beauty. That Tin Lizzie over there." So then we get like Davey Crockett, like the 1980s Davey Crockett comes out. He's on a float and he's like lip singing to a song. So I guess in like the 1988 season, they really wanted to bring back Davey Crockett like as a thing. So The Wonderful World of Disney, like I think they did like 3 or 4 episodes. It was just like a presentation of The Wonderful World of Disney. I think they thought it was going to like catch on and they were going to make more, but it did not. They never made any more.
I know a certain little boy who got really obsessed with Davy Crockett. My little brother.
Like this edition or like the Fess Parker one from
Well, like anything Davy Crockett he could get his hands on when he was 5 years old.
Okay. That's kind of like a wild thing to be into. Like it was just too boring to me. I don't know. Like I tried to watch it.
I think it was like encouraged by my mom and my grandparents.
It was one of those shows. It was definitely like made for kids. It's kind of like, it's Davy Crockett in the wilderness, and the town's like always like at threat for being destroyed by American natives, but they like never come.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's always like the threat of looming danger, but it never happens. Like you never actually see it, or like they're like prepping for war.
Pretty much.
But I mean that's a hard thing to one do for 1960s television, and then two, this is like a show primarily aimed at children. I'm assuming. I don't really know what the.
It sounds like it. If it was Wonderful World of Disney, or at least family entertainment.
Well, the 80s one. I'm talking about like the 1960s one was just a TV show, right? Like a.
Yeah, it was just like.
I think they tried to make us watch it in school one time, even though it's not historically accurate, but I don't know. But I remember the 80s one. I think I actually like tried to watch it one time and I was like,
yeah.
I don't like this. I want like lasers and robots and stuff.
What you really wanted was ghost pirates solving crimes.
Exactly. That's all anyone ever wants. But you know what? I also wanted to watch Clifton Davis also sing on a float, the star of NBC's Amen.
What? That's who that was. I missed the name. Like if you miss the name and they don't put it on the screen, I'm like, I know this dude's in something from back in the day, but I don't know what, and he's singing, so I'm really confused.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about Amen before. It has, I think Sherman Hemsley's also in it.
Yeah, it was like a Saturday night staple along with the Golden Girls when we were kids.
Yeah, hot scoop though.
Because it'd be 227, Amen, Golden Girls, and Empty Nest.
It had like a good run.
That was
I think Amen was on to like 91, 92. Like it was on for a while.
Yeah.
Like I think it got like hit the 100 episodes. And they were like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah, it was definitely in syndication because I remember I've seen it like rerun. It's just not like a super popular show to rerun.
There is a channel that like plays Livin' Single. I think it's on that channel.
Okay.
Whatever channel that is. All right. I'm trying to think. Am I missing any other wild performances? Roberta Flack comes out. They mute the audio.
Yeah, Roberta Flack got the audio muted. That must have been like the one thing that tripped up the like copyright
on the YouTube
infringement. Oh, Christopher Barnes.
Oh,
our boy Christopher Barnes from Day by Day, and later on, your favorite movie ever, the Brady Bunch movie.
Yeah, he played the new Greg. He was the new Greg.
Yeah.
So was Day by Day on yet?
Yes, I had to look it up. Day by Day was like a thing. They even introduced him as Day by Day as Christopher Barnes.
Okay, and what, he just lip synced to a song or something?
Yeah, he like lip synced.
Why did I miss song? This? I feel like I missed this. I think I missed this. I didn't see this.
You think you missed? I was just like, what is? That was one thing I was just like, why? Like, what is happening? Like that was my like what I asked all throughout this is like, what is happening?
All right.
I'm like, why is the kid from Day by Day singing? Like, there's no rhyme or reason for him to be singing in this parade.
One thing I want to bring up. So they'll get a performance, and then you'll get they'll cut back to the hosts, and then they'll like immediately cut to commercial, and it'll be like coming up soon. And they keep like hyping up the balloons. They're like, you're going to meet Garfield, or you're going to see Big Bird, or Spider-Man, or the Quick Bunny.
Yeah.
Or the Peanuts Gang.
Yeah.
Like I was like an hour and 15 minutes into this, and I had still yet to see a single balloon. Like maybe you get like a quick shot of it, like when they're cutting to commercial, but there's always like text in front of it.
Yeah.
It just brings me back to, I actually think I kind of might have actually watched this one as a child, because I remember the Big Bird, the big hullabaloo of the Big Bird, because I think this was the first...
Well, this was the first time we had this Big Bird balloon.
Yeah, so like when we got it, like Sandy Duncan is holding like a replica, like a small replica of it, and they're like hyping it up, and they're like, all right, and you know, the Children's Television Workshop and all this stuff. So I actually like looked this up. I looked up like the history of the Big Bird balloon. So the debut of the Big Bird balloon was this year, 1988.
Okay.
They initially wanted to do a Big Bird balloon back in the mid 70s, when like Sesame Street was kind of like first emerging onto the scene kind of thing. But Goodyear, who crafted the balloons for a lot of these, they were like, you know what? It's too difficult. Like the dimensions of Big Bird, he's a big bird. He's a big guy. It's not going to work. But then, like, when we started getting closer to the 20th anniversary of Sesame Street, they kind of were like, you know what, we got to get this thing up. Like, we need to have a Big Bird balloon, and we need it up, like, ASAP. So they kind of, like, pushed it forward, and we got it in the 1988 parade. It was, like, a huge hit.
Okay, yeah.
This version of the balloon, like, it stuck around until the year 2000.
Yeah.
And these balloons get a lot of damage. I'm just going to throw this out there. They get beat the fuck up. They're doing a lot of patchwork.
Especially, like, when it's super windy out, like, the Cat in the Hat almost, like, killed somebody.
In the 1999 year, they were like, they did, like, a lot of patchwork to Big Bird. 2000, it was, I don't know, it was a little tricky to keep them afloat. So they're like, all right, we got to get rid of them. So they got rid of them, and they have a new one now, though.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes they'll go away for a little bit, but that was Big Bird. I think this is like what I wanted to see when I was a little kid, was Big Bird, and I was like waiting. And
oh yeah, I'm sure, like, I wanted to see, like, Garfield and Woody Woodpecker.
In my memory, I felt like you saw them a lot more, but you really only see these things for like a few seconds.
Yeah, I feel like today, like a more modern day contemporary parade, you see them more.
Okay, maybe that's like what I'm thinking of. Like maybe in the 90s they really like tightened up production. I don't know.
Well, okay, so like I said, I watched the 1980, like parts of the 1980 parade. The production values between 80 and 88 skyrocketed.
Really?
Ran more of like it wasn't just like Todd Bridges was sitting in the bleachers singing and now he's like dancing around. It was more like, I think they upped some production values each year, you know? They always want to go bigger and better and bolder.
I think we're getting to that era now where you can actually accomplish this kind of stuff. So you talked about the Garfield one. This is actually Garfield's fifth.
They were pimping Garfield hard.
Yeah, this was his fifth time in use. officially debuted in the '83 as a walk-around character. It's just like someone in like a costume walking around a float.
Yeah.
But the balloon itself came out in 1984. But one of his paws was cut on a tree that year.
Oh.
And then in 1986, tragedy struck again when high winds blew him into a tree and he like cut his paw again.
Oh, poor Garfield.
Yeah. Things were good in 1988. Things were hot in 1988, but he was briefly retired in 1992. But then they brought him back a few more times in between, like after 1992. But in 1998, they were actually going to use him, but like a chamber inside burst, so like it wouldn't fill up all the way. So they had to like discreetly remove him from the parade before like anyone saw.
Wow.
They brought him back for one more year. In 1999, they were like, all right, let's just give him a farewell. So we said goodbye to Garfield that year. Have they ever made another one though?
I don't know. Like, I think maybe. I honestly, the parades kind of blur together after a while.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, like, how much do you actually pay attention to the parade when you're watching it?
Not really.
It's the kind of thing that I put on, like, while I'm either, like, helping out in the kitchen or I'm getting ready because we're going, like, to somebody's place, you know?
Yeah, and I think after 1999, like, I don't know, Garfield's stock went down probably.
Yeah, Garfield kind of, like, fell out of favor. Garfield wasn't really around for a while, you know?
And I know they made the movie, but I don't even think that was, like, that big of a movie.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, I think it was respectable, but I don't think it was like, hey, we need to bring back the Garfield balloon at the parade.
Oh, there's Garfield and Pookie. So Garfield and his, like, teddy bear from 2003 to 2006.
Are they together, or is it like two different balloons? Okay.
Like, it's like Garfield's holding the bear. Like, it's one big balloon.
Okay, that makes sense. I dig. I stand. All right. Yeah. This one caught me off guard. The baby Shamu balloon.
I posted that on my Instagram stories, and I tagged you and Steven. And Steven was like, I thought it was Willie.
This was the third and final appearance of baby Shamu this parade. This year, the balloon was missing a large amount of helium, so like it was like drooping a lot. If you notice it, it's kind of like lower than all the other ones. Shamu like had been dead for a while after this, I think, right? Like I feel like Shamu died.
I honestly do not know my Shamu history.
Actually, the original Shamu died in 1971.
Oh my gosh!
And then like all the other ones are just trademarked the name Shamu. And they just kind of use it.
Oh my god.
Which is kind of horrible. And I guess they had like other SeaWorld characters around them. And I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are. Like, who are these things? Did you see them?
I guess I didn't pay attention. I was just like, it's baby Shamu. That's a killer whale I like.
So I like Googled Shamu characters. And there's like a whole like... It's like a Disney World. It's like there's like a whole like legion of characters, and like you can have breakfast with them. There's Dolly Dolphin.
I mean, okay.
OP Otter.
I went to SeaWorld when I was like 11, and it was for like a day. And like my grandparents were really confused that we wanted to go to SeaWorld.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do there?
They were like, because they had never gone. They had lived in Florida for years, and they never like even thought to go to SeaWorld. They're like, why do you want to go to that?
Well, like now they have rides.
And I was like, we want to see like Shamu. We want to see the Shamu whales, and we want to see like dolphins and manatees.
Well, like now they have like rides and roller coasters and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, like I think there was some stuff back then too. I think I really don't remember. Like what I remember is going to the killer whale show.
Yeah. At
SeaWorld. Like that's pretty much all I remember.
I went a few years ago and I wasn't impressed. It's like,
yeah.
Like not gonna lie, like there's nothing exciting here, and like I felt bad for all the animals.
Yeah.
This was like right after that movie came out, like Blackfin or whatever, and like I felt kind of like evil going to there, but I'm like, yeah, it was cheap.
Yeah, I'm always like, ooh. I'm like, there have been times like I looked up SeaWorld and you're like, wait, why are there so many SeaWorlds in like landlocked places?
It was empty.
Yes.
It's pretty shitty. It was pretty shitty. Another one that surprised me was the Quick Bunny. Like the Nestle Quick Bunny.
I love the Quick Bunny.
I'm like, that would have never excited me.
But I was totally like a Nestle Quick kid. I would not drink plain milk at all.
Is Quick really milk though?
You put like the Quick in the milk.
Oh yeah, the powder one. I was thinking of the one like the store. Like I don't know what that is.
No, you had. Like, this is back in the day when it was, like, the metal canister, you know? And I always, like, I didn't drink plain milk then. It was always, like, Nestle Quick Milk or just chocolate milk. Like, it was always, like, I would not drink plain milk. I drank it one day and my family was so proud of me. And it's so weird because I drink so much milk now as an adult. It's like wild.
All right, moving along. Spider-Man. There was the cool Spider-Man float. This was his second flight.
There was.
At the time, this was considered the most detailed balloon because like they actually had to give it like a human shape. Like all the other ones are just kind of like cartoon characters and stuff, but this one had to have like arms and legs and extremities and fingers and stuff. So this was like wild. The original Spider-Man stayed in lineup till 1998.
Okay.
And then they remade him for 2009. They kind of modernized it a bit. For a while, he was known as the official superhero of the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade.
I can see that, especially because like there are no other like superheroes listed in this. There was also the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
You know, I watched a lot of Pink Panther when I was a kid, and like I can barely remember it now as an adult, like anything.
It was just kind of like him roaming through like a construction site, and there was like this guy like would see him, and he's like the rare Pink Panther, and he would try to catch him, but he never could catch him, and he always like got away. It was kind of like Roadrunner style.
Yeah.
And not really much plot to it. And then like in like 94, 95, they made a new Pink Panther animated series, and he like actually like talked and stuff in it.
Yeah, I think that threw people off. I remember being like, wait, what? No, you're not supposed to talk. This is weird. Stop.
Do people know? Like, do kids know who the Pink Panther is today?
I can guarantee that if I were to ask Axton or any of my other nephews, they'd be like, the what?
Yeah.
They'd be like, you mean the Black Panther? And they'd be like, Wakanda forever, and run off.
Wild stuff. Woody Woodpecker is here this year.
Snuggle.
The bear? I don't even, like, what?
Yeah.
The little, like, bounty bear or whatever he is?
Yeah, like, not the Snuggle Bear.
This is soft. This is soft. Him, right?
Yeah, it's him.
Oh, you know, I must have missed that.
Yeah, he was there. He was in, he's like this little bear in a red stocking.
Oh.
Yeah. I love the Snuggle Bear.
That's adorable. Then there's walk-around characters, too. There's quite a bit.
Oh, and don't forget Snoopy and Woodstock were balloons, too.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
This was their first time. Well, in this incarnation, there were, like, previous Snoopy balloons.
Yeah, this is the...
Because there was one from, like, 68, and then 78 to 82, 85, like, ooh.
This is the new Snoopy balloon, though. It's, like, a big deal.
Yeah.
When you get a new balloon, it's a big deal.
Because there was Snoopy, where he has, like, the, aviator cap on and the goggles.
Oh, the Red Baron.
And then there was then there was astronaut Snoopy. I don't know what I just tried to pronounce. Then there was Snoopy on skates in 87.
So like,
and then in 88 we got Winter Snoopy and Woodstock, where they have the Macy's sweater and caps.
So it seems like they do a lot of new Snoopy. I don't know. That seems to be like the
dude. There's a Millennium Snoopy,
Y2K Snoopy, and
Snoopy as the Flying Ace. And then there was another Snoopy in Woodstock, and then there's another astronaut Snoopy.
And
that debuted last year in 2019.
The Peanuts gang, they're also walk-around characters in this too.
Yes, they were like skating on a pond with who was it? Who were they skating with? It was like some really random name, and I was just like, what is happening? Because like I'm like looking at the guest name. Oh, it was Jill Schultz. That's Charles Schultz's daughter.
No, well, Charles Schultz was still alive. Like, was he like wounded or something? He couldn't make it?
No, I don't know.
That's just kind of like random. Like, have her come?
Yeah, like, and she's figure skate. Like, was she an Olympic hopeful? I don't know.
She does have an IMDb credit, so like she's on stuff.
Yeah. She's
been in episodes of Newhart, Simon and Simon, MASH.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Has been at multiple Macy's Thanksgiving Day parades. So yeah, I guess she's not just a daughter. So
no, I guess not. Okay.
She's also in something called World of Winx in 2016 to 2017. Oh, she does a voice, so it must be a cartoon.
Okay.
Kind of looks like Bratz, like those character Bratz.
Oh, I know what it is. Okay.
All right. Yeah, so the Peanuts gang's walking around. We get the Archie's gang's also walking around.
I miss those. I miss seeing that. I miss that.
Oh, we get Marvel characters walking around. So
when that happened, because there was some musical number to go with them.
Oh.
I was just sitting there what is you miss my rich, because I had to get the camera up and going to record it, and I'm just what the fuck is happening? These are 1980s costumes for Captain. At first I thought it was a Captain America movie tie-in, because that's what the Captain America looked like.
The one that we did?
And I was just what is happening? What is happening? And then Iron Man is there, it's Spider-Man, and they're just like Marvel characters climbing all over a float while some weird musical performance goes on that doesn't connect in any way, shape, or form.
No, it was just for the sake of having the Marvel characters there, and it was really awkward. And
Yeah.
I was like, is this, like, what was big around the time for Marvel? Like, cartoons?
Yeah, I don't know. It was like, you had Spider-Man, you had Captain America,
The Hulk?
I think Iron Man was there, Wolverine. I was like, that's kind of when I just, like, lost, like, whatever sense I had left in this parade. Like, I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, that was...
I don't understand. There's no rhyme or reason to any of this.
It was pretty deep into the show, too. It was, like, kind of near the end.
A couple things I didn't notice was there were a lot of celebrities who wore fur.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, like, Yay America type floats or musical numbers.
I mean, isn't that the norm, though? Isn't that kind of the norm for these type of events?
Maybe. It just felt like it's just such a different
Vibe today?
tone than today.
Yeah.
I feel like you would not get that today. I feel like there's so much animosity.
I think it was earlier in the show too. Even the when they used some of just the like the pilgrim floats and balloons and things. Those are kind of weird.
Like and George Washington and Ben Franklin like bobblehead walk around type things.
Yeah, and Sandy Duncan says something. Oh, if George Washington ran for president this year, Ben Franklin would have been his television advisor. Just think about that. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, what is happening? And then I like had the thing. I was like, oh, this is the year Bush won.
Yeah, and like just happened, literally like 2 or 3 weeks before. On the telecast, the hosts. I'm assuming they're just like reading a teleprompter, right?
Yeah.
Willard Scott, I will give it to him. He kind of like tries to create a vibe out of it, but like Sandy Duncan just seems not interested in this. She seemed like she was cold AF. Mm-hmm. Hottest star on NBC. You know what? They just had to throw another star on there. I don't know. Like, I feel like, do they get more people now to kind of bounce back and forth from?
Nowadays, it gets hosted by Al Roker, Huda, and Savannah.
Is it Huda or Hoda?
Huda, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Like, who the fuck is Huda? I'm like, wait a second. There was... trying to think. There was something else, I feel, as...
Barbie and the Sensations.
Yes, that's it. Barbie and the Sensations. All right. Which is not Barbie and the Rockers. You explained this to me pre-podcast. All right, so...
So, there's Barbie and the Rockers. It was the whole, like, toy line that Mattel put together because they heard that Hasbro was coming out with the Gem dolls. So they had to, like, have a competition ready. So they created the Barbie and the Rockers line. And it's, like, a whole line. There was, like, a studio... Like, I had a good chunk of this toy line, not gonna lie.
Oh, for sure. For sure you did.
There is a little, like, Barbie... I don't know if it was a special... or if it's just like a VHS that got released. Barbie and the Rockers are going to do a concert in outer space. Sorry, Lady Gaga. Barbie did it first.
Catch up, girl. Catch the fuck up.
Somehow they end up time traveling back to the 1950s. And while they're in the 50s, they become Barbie and the Sensations. And that's what we get here is a Barbie and the Sensations performance. It's very like... doo-woppy 50s kind of thing.
So...
And I kind of was like, this like made me so excited. Like, this is what I got so excited for watching this. Like, I didn't know it was coming. I didn't know to expect it. And then, like, they started... I was like, oh my god, it's Barbie and the Sensations!
Barbie and the Rockers ripped off Gem. Mm-hmm. And then, when that wasn't good enough, they had to rip off Back to the Future?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. I see what you're up to, Mattel. Or is it Mattel that does Barbie?
It's Mattel. The entire special thing is on YouTube.
Does it hold up?
It does. Like, I still, like... I will not watch any of, like, the other Barbie, like, movies. Because they're all, like, that bad computer CGI.
It's like that 1995 CGI.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite perfected yet. And then there's the workout video.
Yes. I love the workout video. I used to do the workout video all the time.
The workout video is the best, where they did, like, stop motion with an actual, like, toy. Also starring who?
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Oh, yeah, JLH. Her early... Kids Incorporated, then this, or this and then Kids Incorporated?
Kids Incorporated, then the Barbie video, and then her, like, huge pop career in Japan, and then Party of Five.
Oh, she had the popcorn in Japan for? I thought that was like simultaneous with everything going on.
It probably spanned it a while because you know how
Okay.
Japan gets. They like
I know. Good for her.
obsessed.
Good for her.
Yeah, so I got like ridiculously excited watching this. Like I was like I didn't know it was coming. It was everything. It was like the best part of the whole parade for me.
Well, I'm glad that you got to enjoy it. Oh, there was a Ronald McDonald float. We kind of missed that.
Oh, Keisha Knight Pulliam was in a float.
Yeah, this was like peak her as Rudy, right?
Yeah, she was one of the young people wearing a fur coat.
Jackie Joyna Kersey was there also.
Okay, Patrick missed this part, but on the Sweet Adeline float, which also had Stephen Collins for some reason.
Yeah, it's like, what was he known for at this point in time? Because Seventh Heaven's way the fuck up.
I don't know. I was like, I don't want to know. I'm like, he's the dad from Seventh Heaven, and we don't talk about him anymore. He's the reason why we haven't done Seventh Heaven.
Yeah, all right, so what happens?
But they're doing the performance. And just like one of those like float songs, you know?
Okay.
And they're kind of like dancing in the place.
Yep.
And this woman like totally stepped and fell off the float. And they quickly cut away from her. Because you can see, like, if you're like in the wide shot, you can see like people like picking her up and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I missed that completely. Also, by the way, Stephen Collins was the main star of a show with Blythe Danner called Taddingers around this time.
Maybe.
Which I think we've talked about it before. I feel like... Hold on, you ready for the synopsis of Taddingers?
Oh, God.
I don't know if it's Taddingers or Taddinger. Whatever I say it is. Taddingers is the story of a divorced couple, Nick and Hillary Taddinger, along with their two daughters, Nina and Winifred. They had remained co-owner partners in a posh Manhattan restaurant until Nick was shot by a drug dealer, which prompted them to sell the restaurant and move to Paris. Their successors, however, proved incapable of properly running the restaurant, so Nick reclaimed the restaurant from them to give it another go. Note, real-life celebrities often appeared in cameo roles as themselves as Nick's exclusive clientele. Jerry Stiller was also on this. Rob Morrow, Chris Elliott. This is only on for one season. There's 11 episodes. 2 are unaired.
I kind of understand why.
They had some leftover episodes, so like... They tried to revive it as a sitcom instead of an hour-long drama and called it Nick and Hillary, and that didn't work either. That was a lot. So that's why Stephen Collins was there. He was promoting Taddingers.
Wow, okay. That was a lot to unpack. I saw him, and I got grossed out.
All right. On a scale of 1 out of 5, newly polished Big Bird floats. How many newly polished Big Bird floats would you give this Macy's Day 62nd annual Macy's Thanksgiving Parade?
I'm gonna give it a 3.
3? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 3. It's mostly for nostalgia reasons.
There's no like big pop star. Like, where's Tiffany? Where's Debbie Gibson?
Yeah, I feel like we're in peak like Tiffany and Debbie Gibson.
Yeah,
like who do we get? Roberta Flack? Like what?
The Osmond Boys. And I feel like there just had to be. Like, when your highlight is Barbie and the Sensations, I feel like we're really missing something. And I feel like there weren't that many marching bands.
I feel like there was a few in the beginning, and then that kind of tapered off really quickly.
I feel like we get more marching bands today. We get more marching bands. We get, like, the cheerleader group.
We get, like, real celebrities.
Yeah. Like, they said somebody was from Days of Our Lives. I don't know who it was, because I did not recognize the name. Because it's from 1988. I was like, they are not someone who has made a lasting impression on that show. They were no Joey Tribbiani.
I thought Arlene Sorkin was there. I thought they said she was there.
Maybe. I think she was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said she was there. I remember seeing her name because they're like, coming up soon. Because they just keep saying that. And it's really not.
Yeah, it's like, coming up soon. Like, because they got to keep you watching. Because, you know, once this is over, they put the dog show on.
Yeah, I'd rather watch the dog show.
The last few years, my family has definitely been watching the dog show.
Even some of the other channels do their own, like, they'll do a parade in, like, another town.
Yeah, like, I want to say there's one from, like, Michigan or Philadelphia.
Like, I remember watching one, it was, like, from Chicago, and I think it might have been, like, CBS or something.
CBS definitely airs another parade. It's not the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Like, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is the parade. This is the parade all the high school marching bands want to be in. This is the parade all the dance teams want to be in. This is the parade all the cheerleaders want to, like, get into because they have that big cheer group. I know a girl, like, there was a girl in my high school junior year. She was in my French class that was in the cheerleader group that year.
Ooh, hot scoop, hot scoop.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it's like the parade. You want to be in this. Like, it's the kind, like, getting to see the parade live in person, like, in New York City is a whole other experience, too.
Oh, yeah, and what I was going to bring up, too, was they were talking about how, you know, they have Macy's employees at, like, the local Macy's store. They're the ones who are, like, holding the balloons. It's like, could you imagine, like, you just, I don't know, you're, like barely minimum wage worker there, like, your full shirts, and now all of a sudden you're, like, holding Snoopy?
Yeah, like, you get to hold, like, a Snoopy balloon string.
I know. I was like, I used to work at Macy's, and I never got asked to be a balloon handler.
I mean,
Elaine Bennis. They asked Elaine Bennis, and she doesn't even work at Macy's.
No, they didn't ask Elaine. She won it. She won it in a contest, and she gave it to Mr. Pitt.
I wouldn't have given it to him. I would have kept it.
I mean, like, when on Caroline in the City, she got to be a balloon handler for the Caroline balloon.
The Caroline balloon. I love it.
There's and Florence Henderson, it's like an episode that you can't find on CBS All Access. We've tried.
Oh, I don't. Maybe because it's like a tie-in with the parade. Maybe like Macy's has like they own a stake in it.
I think it was like very like NBC copyrighted type thing.
Oh yeah, it's their thing. It's their turf, their home turf. Yeah, because this is like an NBC joint. And so you told me that they were not going to do a Macy's parade this year, but they are.
They are?
Yeah, they're just not going to... People aren't going to be there. It's just going to be on TV only.
Oh, really? Because, like, what I had read originally was, like, they were just going to, like, clip together stuff and air, like, old content.
I don't know, like Al Roker in front of a green screen, and, like, it's 1988 behind him. Here comes the cast of Suds.
Oh, yeah, like, how are they going to... They can't do Broadway performances because Broadway's closed.
That's Al Roker calling in with his hot take on his hot opinion on how they're going to do it. Do you have anything to add?
You know, I don't think until I, like, went and rewatched a parade, I, like, never really thought about how, like, just wild and how they make no sense, you know?
You know what? In my mind, I thought this was going to be, like, more well put together, like, production-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of just, like, it looked like they just kind of, like, winged it. Like the day before, they just did like a quick like dry run.
Yeah.
Not even. I just think they just like you know what, they got their scripts. They were kind of like.
I mean,
Willard and Sandy Duncan looked it over real quick. Sandy probably had some corrections she wanted to make, and
maybe if I like pull up a more recent parade, we'll see like a higher production value, more cohesive. Because it's not. I don't think that they have like a theme each year. You know, like it's just like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. Because I know, like, when I have lived in smaller towns, like, there will be festivals that have a parade, and there's, like, a theme to the festival.
Like the Fall Fest.
And then, like, all the floats are in that theme. But also, I have lived in small towns where, like, you have a huge-ass parade, and you get, like, every royal court from every freaking festival in like a tri-state area. But
listen, we're not in a small town. We're in New York City. We're in the melting pot of America, Cat Hall said the author. There's no time for these hay bales.
You were missing my point, but okay.
They got to bring out big names. They got Clifton Davis. They got to bring him out.
They have to have Christopher Barnes sing.
Yeah, we got to get Sandy Duncan in an amazing fur coat. It's probably like the one that you have in your family heirloom or whatever the hell you're talking about.
Mine is not that long at all.
I stand. All right, well, you know what? It's time to go eat some turkey and some pumpkin pies.
All right.
Get this show on the road. Listen to us next week. I think we're doing I Love Lucy. I don't know like where this lines up with.
I honestly don't know what's next because we're just recording.
Yeah, and this one we've actually like recorded all our Thanksgiving episodes, and then now like we hopped back in time, so we're bringing you. I'm pretty sure next week will be I Love Lucy. It's a Christmas episode. It's fun.
Like they don't care, Patrick. They really don't care. Like when we've recorded something.
They do. You know what I do when I listen back to it? I care. I'm like, oh, okay, because I'm like trying to envision the day when we're being archive.org. It's gonna all matter. All right. So where can you follow our wild adventures? Where can you hear all our things?
You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr at A Very Special Podcast. Do not accept invitations. You can find us on pretty much any program, app, that hosts podcasts. Amazon Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, iTunes.
Yeah.
I don't even know what else there is because I just listed a bunch. And Patreon. Check out our bonus content on Patreon. We went back and checked out like one of the greatest Thanksgiving movies ever.
Yes.
So you should check that out.
Starring our friend of the show, Polly Shore. Check it out. And as always, girl, as always,
Bye!
watch the skies for the drooping baby Shamu float coming down to crush us all, just like Willie should have. Is that too dark?